Alright guys, so I know it's a little late, but I figured I'd do a comic review, just to get you guys interested. While this is Friday the 13th, there is another horror genre still out there, and we're going to talk about Alien Bloodlines. Yes, this is the first volume of the Marvel line for Alien. They are going to be doing Predator very soon, now that the rights thing has been cleared up, but they had been doing Alien first. This is written by Philip J. Kennedy, with artwork by Salvador Larocca. And there were a lot of questions, I will say. There were a lot of questions that were out there for this comic, Alien, which is called Alien Bloodlines, excuse me. And essentially there was a lot of talk about what could Marvel do that Dark Horse didn't. Like, that was kind of the big deal, was obviously because Dark Horse shaped and molded the Alien and Predator universe for decades of work put into this. And then they came along, because a lot of people were saying, like, oh, the only thing really they could do is we could get Alien and Predator in the Marvel Universe. And all we have is covers. I do think at some point we are going to get an Alien and Predator. We are going to get Alien and Predator in the Marvel Universe, like, as a crossover at some point. If the Marvel versus Fortnite comic is any indication of that. I will say that, this was a comic I was looking forward to as an Alien fan, but I was apprehensive because this was a series that I was like, again, I was one of those people who's like, what could they do that Dark Horse didn't? But without further ado, let's talk about Alien Bloodlines. So Alien Bloodlines is set in the year 2200. And what it's about is about this a guy named a retired security officer named Gabriel Hernandez, who was part of a project called Project Alpha. Essentially, what that project was something to deal with xenomorphs, and his son is on a station that he was retired from. An event happened that forced him into retirement. What happens next is his son, who's part of a industrial terrorist group, have seized the station, the space station, and the xenomorphs get loose. So now he has to go save the Project Alpha, along with saving his son, Gabriel, I mean. So this comic is, I haven't read anything of Philip J. Kennedy. In fact, I was like, when they announced it, I was like, who? Because if you guys know me, I've done a few videos talking about how I really wanted, and I do stress, really wanted Donny Cates to write Alien. I thought he'd be a great pick, but I guess since Donny Cates is writing everything, they just decided to get Kennedy on this. But yeah, this comic is... Let's talk about, like, because a lot of you, I'm pretty sure, watching this are thinking, well, it's probably not gory or anything. It's probably just PG-13 violence. No, there's a parental advisory on here for a reason. Like, if you were afraid that they weren't going to push the limits with this comic because it was Marvel, put that out of your head. Because there's literally, like, in the first issue, and it's not even like alien on human violence. It's literally a scene where it's a human taking a shotgun to a dude's face, and you see everything. This is a violent comic. Like, the writer of Philip Kennedy understood this. He understood the prompt. He understood the prompt. This is very much an alien book. This is very much a brutal alien book. Like, there's one guy where his rib cage is exposed, and he's like, "Mama, I could see my stomach. Why?" And I'm like, holy shit. There's some really brutal deaths in here. There is some good, genuine... I wouldn't say... Well, there is some creepy moments involving the facehuggers, especially. Kennedy has a real thing for the facehuggers, which, that's fine. Chris, by the way, thank you for getting this for me. This, I think I forgot to mention, nearly 5 minutes into the video, and I already forgot to mention, this was part of the haul from my friend Chris, aka the Mount Vernon kid, who, by the way, does not like Alien because of the facehuggers. So, Chris, I'm glad you didn't read this, because this is all about them facehuggers. And there's also, like, something they do different with the facehuggers, in that when they latch on to someone and let go, they leave, like, burn marks on the face of the victims before they get chest busted. That is kind of they've kind of toyed with it a few places. Like, they really have toyed with it in a few storylines in Dark Horse vaguely, but this is the first one that really goes no. When the facehuggers, after they latch on you, I'm sorry, by the way, I know we're like a while into the review, but I'm sorry for the autofocus, I really am. But yeah, so this comic does do something different with the facehuggers, and it also takes a lot of inspiration, but does it better. This has a lot of inspiration from Alien Resurrection, but better. I swear to God, it's not Alien Resurrection level. It does take a lot of the story elements of Resurrection without being Resurrection. So that's cool. Now, there is kind of an overarching story that's doing something a little different, and I think they're referencing Prometheus, personally. There's also a lot of reference to like a xenomorph god or something like that. It's all really interesting. I'm wondering, because it seems like each story arc is going to be its own thing that's going to be interconnected, kind of like an American Horror Story thing, but with comics. So that's going to be cool to see. The one thing that bothers me about this comic is the artwork. The artwork from Larocca is not great. It is some really, like, some straight up, like, he traced some of it. And also, the aliens, the xenomorphs, look really, like, awkward. Like, they're all, like, standing. You don't see a lot of xenomorphs on all fours. You see them in really awkward positions. It really just kind of takes you out of it. And the xenomorph proportions look really bad. I do not want Larocca on this book anymore. I think he did a great job on the Karen Gillan Vader run, but everything else I've seen from Larocca has been from mediocre to just bad. And this is just mediocre. So yeah, if this was a better artist, like if we had like a better artist, I think this would be a much better recommended buy. If you are an Alien fan, I am saying go buy this. This was a really good comic. It's just the art kills a lot of the momentum. Like, facial features are just bad. I can't defend Larocca. It's really hard sometimes to defend Larocca. I'm not saying put Greg Land on this book. Oh, God, no. But I feel like if this was a better artist, this would be a 5-star book. But I do think with the story, the characters, who are all very relatable, the horror's great. Great vibe. This really does feel like a class. Like, you'd have to look back on the back and be like, oh, it's Marvel. It's not Dark Horse. Like, this straight up feels like a Dark Horse story. So, yeah, art aside, I do think if you're an Alien fan, go check out Alien Bloodlines. I'm very excited for Volume 2, which should be coming out in August, I think. That'll be cool. But anyway, so Chris, thank you once again. I know you're watching this, and yeah, hope you all enjoyed this comic review. If you haven't already, hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon for exclusive videos, and other than that, I am Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.